Good morning, everyone. Today is Sunday, December 21st, 2025, and a lot has been going on. Yesterday evening, we learned that the United States government has seized their second oil tanker off of the Venezuelan coast. The first was December 10th. The tanker was called Skipper. I don't know why I want to tell you that it was called Skipper, but I do. And it potentially holds 2 million barrels. The second, yesterday evening, December 20th, called Centuries, it also holds roughly 2 million barrels. So if we take the price of West Texas oil right now of $50 and multiply that by 2 million, we get $100 million per ship. Now, that puts the total seizure, I got to say that again, at roughly $200 million worth of crude. Possibly one of the biggest heists this year. Call it sanctions enforcement, call it geopolitics, but in raw dollar terms, this is one of the largest single commodity seizures that I've seen in a long time. That oil hasn't hit the market yet. It definitely didn't go to China, which is apparently where it was headed, and maybe not where it was headed, but who owned it, and now it's headed to a refinery, possibly in Houston or Galveston. We'll see what Trump says. So now zooming out a bit, I don't know why I'm showing you XLRE. That's something I want to talk about later. We'll check on XLE, the energy ETF. Headed down. Don't know if that's because we're getting more supply. But anyways, now zooming out a little bit, another really big headline I want to talk about is Donald Trump backing the rescheduling of marijuana. He signed an executive order that reschedules marijuana. He wants more research, more legitimacy. He says he doesn't smoke it and he doesn't want his kids to smoke it, which this will also give them normal banking access, a little bit of a lot of tax relief. They'll be able to write off quite a few more expenses now, and maybe this gives it some legitimacy into institutional capital finally entering the space. So yeah, I have bought a little bit for the long term myself, and I think this could be a real shift for the weed industry, and yeah, we'll see about that. So the big ETF that I know of is MSOF. This would cover a broad range of cannabis companies, and this is the day, the big red candle here on the 18th is when he signed the executive order, and this is a classic example of buy the rumor and sell the news. So I believe it was the Washington Post came out with a press last weekend, and we got this big green day, and then yeah, today he signed it. So another thing, Federal Reserve cut rates again. Lowering rates has begun. This will allow cheaper leverage, higher asset multiples, and possibly renewed risk appetite. That is what they say. And Bitcoin, a very risk-on asset, has been getting schmacked. Ethereum, schmacked. Technology, however, remember the big AI craze? Well, now everybody has turned against it, saying it could be a possible bubble. It closed above the 20-day moving average beautifully. I mean, this is a beautiful double bottom here in the 140s. So the last thing I want to talk about before I go over a couple charts with you is the Trump accounts. Man, Scott Bessent gave a beautiful speech this week about all the ins and outs of the Trump accounts. There are several ways. This is a big overview of how one can donate to a child's Trump account. It's essentially anyone under the age of 18 can have it, from what I understand right now. But a child born between Trump's presidency, his second term, will get a $1,000 deposit from the federal government. That's huge. Whether you like it or not, this is big. It's a very, very interesting account. I'm of the age now where a lot of my friends are getting married, and a lot of them are already having babies. So if you listen to this or hear of this, contact me, and it's something I'm very interested in talking about and possibly setting up. My name is Luke Fenwick. I am an investment advisor representative for the firm that I started, Fenwick Financial, and it's very important that none of what I have said is investment advice. This is just informational purposes only, okay? And I'm just going over information and how crazy the market is and how fast it's developing. So bonds, the yield is going up as price goes down. Charles Schwab dividend ETF cannot break out over 28. Gold got rejected hard this week off of 400. It wicked several times. This is a term Jack Kellogg uses, is wicked. You see these big candle legs. It's where price got up to that, and obviously a bunch of sellers came in and kept it below the $400 level. So it has tried 1, 2, 3, 4 times now in the previous 2 weeks to break out over 400, and it can't. The high on this ETF being 403.3, $400.30. Bitcoin not looking good or looking really good, depends on how you define it. Consolidating down here at the 29s. This would be a classic number 1 on Gerald Peters' money flow, potentially. Now, it could quickly turn into a stage 4 decline again. We don't know. Over the weekend, it's sitting here chilling at 88,000. Silver, going to the moon, one of the biggest returns this year. Dow Jones doing well. Ethereum, again, consolidating down here at 24. Very interesting topic. I could make a whole video on Ethereum and Larry Fink, and I have, about what the potential is for the blockchain. Not the blockchain, but some of these layer 1 blockchains. Russell 2000 having a stellar November and December. Possible polarity principle bouncing off 250. Possible. We'll see Monday morning. Technology closing above the 20. SPY closing above the 20. NASDAQ closing above the 20. So we're in a very, very weird range here between, I'll go back to the SPY. We're in a very weird range here between 650 and 690. We'll see what happens into the holidays. Thank you for tuning in. I've got to go shingle a roof and enjoy the decent weather here in Kentucky. So, yeah. Peace!